Alien deposit detected. Initiating evisceration protocols to remove mass from human.
In order to avoid injury, please report any spills or unsafe conditions on the upper levels to the Cydonia Department of Public Works.
I swear, that warning capsule still starts.
In a press statement, Galbank acknowledged there was a data breach.
The community center on P1 is a good place to connect with others, or fulfill any spiritual needs you may have.
Keep on the straight and narrow, and there won't be anything to worry about. Careful near the railings on the upper levels. It's a long way down.
Welcome to Cydonia Security. I'm Commander Vincent Woodard, Chief of Planetary Security and former head of the Red Devils program here on Mars. I tend to deal with security at a high governmental level, whereas my associate Booth over there handles day-to-day security issues. So if you're looking to report a minor crime or misdemeanor, see him. But if there's something I can help you with, feel free to ask. It's small, it's dusty, it's old, but it's home. It may not be anything fancy, but I couldn't dream of living anywhere else. Still do, technically. I'm a naval commander, but they've got me here pushing pencils ever since the Red Devils disbanded. I pull double duty, aiding in recruitment and serving as the Cydonia Security Chief, representing the UC. If you ask me, though, nothing's been the same since the Red Devils' glory days. Only the finest bunch of soldiers to ever grace the UC with their service. Of course, I may be biased as a Red Devil myself, and head of the program. Well, former, I should say. Program's been defunct since the armistice that ended the colony wars. It put a stop to any and all Xeno warfare. I fought to keep them operational here, but the top brass concluded that without their unique alien bioweapon training, there was no need for a separate elite soldier program. All the goddamn time. It's been about 20 years, but every time a new recruit crosses my desk, I size them up and wonder if they have what it takes to be a Red Devil. I'd give my left thumb to recruit fresh devils again, but it'd take nothing short of a miracle to convince the top brass to reinstate the program. That's a pretty serious accusation. I assume you have proof of these alleged illicit activities? Well, he's a governor. If what you say is true and you have evidence against him, he'll be charged with felonies. I assume he'd step down ahead of this and turn himself in, but if not, he'd be arrested. Then there'll be a formal trial back in New Atlantis. If convicted, he'll likely serve jail time plus any applicable fines. I'm sure they'd have to find a new governor. It's pretty rare for something like this to happen. So this is all an educated guess. I'm going to need more than the word of a passing stranger to go on for such a serious matter. Either come back with solid evidence, or I'm going to have to ask you to drop it. Unless you want us to start investigating you instead. I don't miss the war, but I do miss the... Have yourself a good one.
Sergeant Booth at your service. If you have a security-related concern, bring it up to me. Well, it ain't drugs if that's what you're worried about. You'll notice it happens to minors and anyone else that's been down in the red Martian dust too long. Nothing to worry about any more than anyone else around here. Used to be a sign someone was ready for the Red Devils. And some of the ex-Red Devils still think they're a big deal. They ain't as badass as they think they are. And any that do have a chip on their shoulder and cause trouble, well, I'll put them in their place. Not if I've got anything to say about it. For real, though. I don't know if it's because everyone's too busy working, or if it's because of the military presence, but crime's pretty low. We get the occasional drunken brawls, petty thefts and stuff, but Cydonia ain't exactly a hotbed of crime. We're not Neon. As much as someone's last name is a nickname, friends, acquaintances, and other locals call me Booth. You can call me Sergeant Booth. Be seeing you around.
The Office of Governor Hurst would like to remind all Cydonia citizens to do their part to keep Cydonia clean.
Always nice to kick back at the Broken Spear after a long day.
Taken me a few years. I'm finally feeling like I'm fit.
Since you helped us out with the equipment and all, I was wondering if I could talk to you. It's probably not, but I can't afford to go get it looked at. No idea. Some sort of lung rot. Maybe from all the Martian dust that kicks up in here. Or it could be something worse. It's not a matter of money. There's more to it than that. Actually, maybe this is wrong. You're a total stranger. Forget I said anything. You're right. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just nervous. I have every right to be. See, I'd like to go to Reliant Medical for treatment, but my father, Nathan, is an executive with Reliant. I came to Cydonia to escape him. Nathan is not a good man. Not to me. And I did something terrible to him, so now he is searching far and wide for me. He has connections with doctors throughout the settled systems. I don't know which ones I can trust, and it won't end well for me if they snitch to him. It's worse than you think. I didn't just run away from him. I knocked him unconscious, then stole his ship while he was out cold. Trust me, it was warranted at the time. After I ditched it above Akila, I bounced around the settled systems until I landed here. It's the last place I thought he'd find me. But all that changes if I pop up in the Reliant database. He'll know I'm in Cydonia, and he'll never stop looking for me. Last I heard, he no longer cares for my safety. He only wants revenge. I have little doubt he would throw me in jail for as long as possible. or worse. After my mother died in an accident, he changed. He became obsessed with my protection, but he never listened to what that was doing to me. It got worse and worse. First, it was no traveling in ships without one of his pilots. Then, no parties, no drinking, no leaving the house. I obeyed. But he didn't trust me, so he started monitoring everything I did. It became so bad, he once locked me in my room for 2 days after an argument. Can you believe that? A prisoner in my own home. Every day there was yelling, lack of freedom, threats. I had to escape my prison. But even now, I am trapped. It's a risk I have to take. Yes, my condition is getting worse, but there's a chance it will clear up on its own. If my father finds me, well, I know my father and I fear for my safety. That is a definite. Trevor tells me you're skilled in dealing with people. Maybe you could try to reason with my father, or maybe scare him into backing off. But you should know, he has powerful and dangerous friends, so you must be careful. If it works, I'll be free. If not, well, at least he still won't know where to find me. What do you think? He wasn't always the way he is. It wasn't until after my mother died that he changed. Grew angry, dangerous. He was no longer himself. You could try mentioning her by name. Belinda. He misses her greatly. Thinking about her tends to calm him down. It's worth a try. It just so happens there's a conference he goes to on Neon around this time of year. He always stays at Hotel Volai. He won't see visitors he doesn't know, but maybe he'll talk if you tell him you're there on my behalf. It's risky, but maybe he'll listen if he knows you mean him no harm. I've got it. Bring him a bottle of his favorite whiskey, Red Harvest Reserve. Say it's... Say it's a peace offering from me. That whiskey is exceedingly rare. I'm sure it will pique his interest enough to hear what you have to say. There may be, but getting him to listen to you is the key here. And what I've told you is the surest way I can think of. There was a time he had a falling out with his brother, and that whiskey did the trick to bring them back together. With that gift, he will know I am sincere. As much as possible, yes. I intend to patch things up with him and work with him on our mutual issues. I believe with therapy we could repair our relationship as damaged as it is. Or if you discover it is irreparable, at least you could put the fear of God in him, and that should deter him from taking further action. Good luck. You can check with Jack at the Broken Spear for the whiskey. He may have some or know where to get it. And thank you so much for trying to help me.
A reminder that Bring Your Child to Work Day is not an officially sanctioned holiday, and that it is not advised to allow children into potentially dangerous work sites. Keep our children safe. Keep them out of harm's way. Thank you from the Cydonia Department of Labor.
Take your time, and ask me if you need anything. I'm here to help.
A friend offered me a nice cushy office job.
We get a lot of new faces passing through here.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Only that I didn't care much for them getting disbanded years ago. I don't care much for them because they're coming back someday. I am, but you don't look like the type that could afford it. The last person that came through here asking about it was none other than Governor Hurst. Didn't even want to drink it. Said he was buying it to put it on display in his office or something. Seems like a waste, but whatever. He paid up. You don't get it. This whiskey was aged in barrels buried in Martian soil, which leached into it, giving the whiskey its distinct red hue. They don't make this stuff anymore and never will. The exact process was lost. There's a finite amount of this stuff left in the universe. You're lucky I got any at all. Not from me. And I know Hurst won't give his up willingly either. So, no. Unless you're fixing to steal from Hurst. And for the record, I wouldn't recommend something utterly stupid like that. Now you got my attention. This ought to be good. I do have a soft spot for that girl. Why didn't you say so? I know Rivka's story. Will this really help her? I do believe you, but you realize what kind of a bind this puts me in, right? Tell you what, I'll do this as a favor for Rivka. She's been through a lot. I'll only charge you what I paid for the whiskey years ago. Pay me that, and it's yours. I sure hope you're not pulling my leg about this whole thing, or else I just let all that money slip away. You better do justice for Rivka.
Am I glad I got this job instead of mining some dead rock out in the middle of nowhere. Mars isn't for everybody. I could use a break.
Hey, it's my personal savior. Thanks again for the assist.
Yo, hey, what's up? You looking to do some shopping here at the Trade Authority? I'm Manaki. Feel free to ask me anything and I'll do my best to help you out. Oh man, I'm still new here, so I don't know how qualified I am to answer that. We're like this huge network of shipping and trade throughout the known universe. Everyone. Free Stars, UC, even Varun uses us in some capacity. Because I guess we're all about free trade for all. Yo, I wouldn't be surprised if we bought and sold from the Crimson Fleet, right? They pay my salary, so as far as I'm concerned, they're all right in my book. Man, sorry, I can't really say that. Really, they told me not to say anything like that because rumors, you know? All I know is that we're running a business here, and I was told to take in all trades and sell whatever we've got. And listen, I'm not gonna worry about anything other than that. Yo! This dude came in once trying to sell this whack-looking fish or something. It was still alive. He had it in this big plastic bag full of water and everything. Good size, too. I was trying to tell him I didn't know if we took in things like that, but then my boss came over and told me we absolutely did. And I had to process the sale and store the thing. Man, what a pain in the ass that was. Even weirder, someone came in and bought it like right away. The hell's that about, right? Yo, stay good out there.
Got something on your mind, love? Then spit it out. You bothering me for a reason? Sure. Mission board's where you should go if you're looking for your one-and-done freelance jobs. You'll tend to find them at local watering holes near spaceports, like the Broken Spear here in Sidonia. You bet your arse we do, love. You've got all these dusties crammed into this tin can of a city, scrambling to use their profit shares to pay their bills. If they have a thin month in the mines, the credits are still due. So we're here to buy anything and everything people want to sell. And I do mean everything, if you catch my meaning. Not that I'm admitting to anything, of course. I'm in what you might call the Special Liaisons Department. When the TA needs to deal with, let's call them organizations that tend to fly below the radar, that's where I step in. I keep my own hours and the pay is good. So who the hell am I to complain? Bye, love.
A sober Sidonia is a safe Sidonia. While indulging in alcoholic beverages is not discouraged, operating heavy machinery while under the influence is dangerous to yourself and those around you.
I hope no one tears down the little green guy posters I've been seeing. They add a
Just
lot of charm
leave
to this
whatever
place.
it is you're selling on the desk.
So, were you eating at the Sagebrook, or is it just a quick snap from the Terra Brew?
You're out there a lot, right? Be scanned as you enter the city. Please keep moving. Okay. No bounty.
Ever been to Sidonia? Hi, how are you? Oh, sure. There's always tons of travel into New Atlantis, so there's no shortage of people to meet. I love talking with the new people and hearing about their journeys. Not to mention, it's also nice and safe. Unlike my brother's job. There's a huge tree in the Embassy District, across from the mass station. Trust me, It may sound dumb, but I think everyone should see it at least once when they're in the city. It's so cool. Or maybe I just love trees. What? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting this since Chris can't visit this year. How's Chris doing? Is he okay? Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I just worry about him all the time, since he's so far away. He always says he's doing well and he's having a good time. So I'm going to try to trust him when he says that. Thank you so much for delivering these to me. Here, take this for your trouble. See you.
Another day, another credit.
What if we took the kids to your brother's place?
It's amazing to think that this tree predates New Atlantis. Can you imagine all the changes it's seen?
Oh, I was hoping we might run into one another again. Your timing is most fortuitous. I'm on the verge of something, but I don't quite have all the information I need. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. Truly. Of course, now that I understand more about what's going on, it seems plain as day. And yet I never would have imagined it before. The tertiary trunks have also liquefied their interiors, but they're not vibrating. I thought perhaps it was some sort of defect, but it's much simpler. They're listening. I don't. Not for sure. It's all a theory, certainly, but it is completely supported by the data and observation, like all good science. It's the best we have to go on right now. It means it is ready to reproduce. I believe this tree is sending vibrations out over massive distances and expecting to detect sympathetic vibrations in return. As of yet, there's been no response. I suspect that will not change, that a response is impossible, and that's very, very bad news. We're continuing to see an increase in the strength and frequency of the vibrations. I don't know how much more significant it'll become. If there's no response, the tree may vibrate itself, and some nearby portion of the city, to destruction. Now, as of yet, there has been no response, and clearly none of the nearby individuals are a correct match. While it can't be ruled out that the intended recipient of these messages was cut down during the city's expansion, there is one other possibility. Over 100 years ago, the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective emerged from the Narian War. As a gesture of peace and goodwill, a near-literal olive branch, one of the trees from New Atlantis, was offered to the leaders of Akila City. The greatest tragedy of all is that the tree never stood a chance on Akila. Of course, you can't just uproot a native species and plunk it down on some other planet in a totally different environment and expect it to grow. Clearly, no exobotanists were consulted ahead of time. The end result was wholly predictable. The tree died within a few short years. Clever, but no, not necessarily. The tree died, yes, but branches were kept. At least one still exists in the museum there in the city. If I had that branch, I could get DNA samples, and then using various data I've gathered, I could attempt to simulate a response. We could then broadcast that response and hopefully calm down our friend here. But, as I say, I need that branch. I knew you would understand. The museum in Akila City is under the supervision of one Miss Kassler, I'm told. I don't know anything about her, but hopefully she'll be willing to listen to reason and assist our cause. All right, off you go. We don't have any time to waste.
And we'll get underway.
van and you can be on your way. You're good to go. Have a nice time in Akila City.
Akila City's always open.
Our freight is about 2 hours out. You'll have a tech free?
That's not a problem. And you're springing for the new reactor? It's still under manufacturer's warranty.
Yes. Can I get an invoice?
What you need one of those for?
Hold it. By order of Marshal Daniel Blake, I need to inform you we've got some trouble at Gal Bank. Folks might be in danger, so you may want to steer clear. Well, all I know is there was an attempted bank robbery and things went sideways. You'd have to ask the Marshal if you want the whole story. Not usually, but he took charge of the situation because the bank robbers are part of the Shaw gang. The Marshal's had a lot of experience dealing with the gang, so he's calling the shots. It's just behind me on the right. The place is on lockdown, so you should steer clear unless you can help out. I guess that'd be the Marshal's call. Frankly, it ain't going well. Looks to be a stalemate. Maybe a little outside help would do some good.
Sam has told me so many stories about Akila City. I feel as though I've lived here all my life.
Someone we can trust, and maybe we will.
Like who?
Not you, not one of your rangers, and not these city guards neither.
How am I supposed to do with that?
So you want to come here for a half day? Full day?
A half day. I talked with Miss Kassler, and she'll give a full guided tour.
I mean, no offense, but isn't it a bit small? And there's not as many attractions as I'd like.
Miss Kassler built this whole thing off donations and what she could throw together. It's not like Akila's swimming in museums here.
Fine. But I want your class to write an essay about what they learned.
I was planning on that, ma'am.
You should ask Sam about Akila sometime. He has some pretty amazing stories to tell.
Hi! Please feel free to have a look around. It's the reason I started this place. Most people know Solomon Coe as the founder of Akila City and the father of the Freestar Collective. He was an astrophysicist who lived on Earth in a place called Wyoming. Solomon was born around the time people first started living in space. Later in life, he designed starships, and when Earth was in peril, those ships helped to save humanity by taking them to new homes in the stars. The bravery and heroism it took to save humanity. Whew, goosebumps. During the Great Exodus, Solomon came to this world. He named our star Cheyenne, which was also a place on Earth, and gave Akila its name too. He and some others built the settlement that would go on to become Akila City, and his descendants still live here today. Akila City was founded over 150 years ago by Solomon Coe, a scientist and explorer from Earth. Along with other settlers, Coe built the structures you see in the part of the city we call the core. Those proud buildings still stand today. The planet was dangerous, so they built a wall around their settlement. Eventually, they ran out of space and started building outside the wall. There were so many buildings that they had to build another, larger wall, forming a second outer ring around the growing city. Of course, the city didn't stop growing, and before long, the third wall, the outer wall you see today, was constructed. Today, Akila City is the proud capital of the Freestar Collective, and the Council of Governors continues to meet here when they need to. Very well. People are proud of their history here, so we get more visitors than I was expecting. So it gets pretty busy here, especially with school field trips. There are some things I would kill to have. I mean, wait, not literally. But I would pay a lot for. You see, the Coe family lost a treasure trove of old historic documents ages ago. And those documents would be priceless to have here. Well, all of them were owned by our city's founder, Solomon Coe. He's more than that, really. He's one of the greatest heroes of the settled systems. These documents would be, like I said, priceless to the museum and to our guests. Their absence pains me. Jacob Coe and I have talked at length, and his great-grandfather was a troubled man. He sold off various historic documents to cover debts. They could be anywhere. If you find any of that trove of documents, I will pay dearly for it. Thank you. Think of the future generations that could benefit from seeing such important history. If you ever want to learn more history, please visit.
Of course. Remember our last conversation, when you told me the artifacts made you feel like you were being pulled across the entire galaxy? Well, it got me thinking. So I dove into our archives and started looking through Constellation's older journal entries. Just because I wasn't familiar with the experience you described, doesn't mean the same might have been true for my predecessor. Unfortunately, no. Other than you and Barrett, there were no records of direct encounters with the artifacts. I have to admit, though, I did get more than a bit sidetracked reminiscing about old times. Really? I'm surprised that I haven't. After reading those journals, all of the pleasant memories of my time spent with Aja just started flooding back. She absolutely was. Aja was the one that taught me the ropes at Constellation and took me under her wing as her protege. Yeah, I thought so too. That's why I adopted her methods. You know, Aja and I logged quite a few interesting discoveries together. But it was the journey itself that I'll never forget. catalogued unusual stellar phenomena, a few habitable worlds, and some unique life forms, but nothing SSNN would bother to report. Exactly. For me, it was all about the quieter moments. There was nothing quite like sitting back and watching space bend while listening to Aja spin vivid stories to fill the time. Oh, I find that sort of cozy isolation the best way to really get to know someone. Yeah, you know, being alone in interstellar space, nothing but light years of black around you. Some people find that terrifying. I find it comfortable. It helps me bond with my shipmates. At this point, I'd say you've graduated from protégé and moved up the ladder. A bit. You know, all this talk about Aja reminds me that my time with her was a gift. I miss her dearly. I respected her, and I considered her a dear friend, but we weren't in love. Had that been true, I would have resigned my post and moved to Parima 2 instead of remaining at Constellation. Come to think of it, if we're ever out that far, perhaps we could pay her a visit, and I could make proper introductions. Well, you don't need to follow anyone, just be yourself. I chose to accompany you on this journey because I saw something familiar in your eyes, a hunger for exploration. I don't know if I deserve to be that close to anyone right now. If you knew about the things that I've done, the way my life's unfolded, I think your opinion of me might change. Please, give me some time. I have to go.
Everything you see here is a piece of Akila City's history. Welcome to the Co-Heritage Museum. I offer a brief tour, and I'm happy to discuss the city's history as well.
That is not something I expected to hear today. I assume you're somehow associated with the United Colonies? I've received some odd messages of late.
Several that bordered on being incomprehensible. Honestly, I thought it was some kind of strange prank until now. A bunch of gibberish about dire consequences and frequency modulation and genetic reconstruction. It all came across as rather unhinged. Well, I'm afraid you've wasted your time because I'm not authorized, nor particularly inclined, to release any of our pieces. That includes 100-year-old tree branches. Sorry, but it's staying in storage.